Good afternoon, and how's it going to everybody? So I think
This call is now taking.
yeah, for starters, like you said, I'm an AI engineer. I've been doing this for a while. Not up to 10 years. I'm still young, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff to understand for people who are not necessarily acquainted with AI, and then people who are just sort of like thinking, okay, how do I get into AI, or like what does it entail, stuff like that. So that's sort of what we'll be doing today. And yes, it's my birthday, so I don't know how long I'll be able to be here for, but hopefully like maybe 40 minutes at least. So we'll have a discussion and having it interactive. So let me share my screen. um so backstory is uh I had these slides a while back, but I never got to use them. You the day I was supposed to use them, I ended up going like off script. So I finally get to use them basically. So today's session will be on building a future in artificial intelligence from Nigeria. So what we'll be covering today would be how AI sets in workflows today, um, a day in the life of an AI professional, and then the roadmaps. Um, so yeah, firstly, was AI. So um, in your day to day, there's been AI for a long time, but it's just more popular now because of like the whole um, high level technologies. So something like AI is the science of making a machine perform tasks that will require human intelligence. So if something can play chess, it's AI. Like you were playing chess with the computer, maybe in JS1 or those games. That's AI because it's something that requires intelligence to be done. So AI has existed for a while, and then it's just plain and simple. It's not complicated. It's just a machine doing what human intelligence can do. So there's narrow AI, there's general AI, and then there's super AI. So narrow AI is just basically like recommendation systems, like how you open Netflix, for example, you watch a cartoon, and then it says because you like this, you probably like this, and then you actually like that because you like this. So it's like it's able to learn and recommend to you. So recommending in itself is not something that can be done without intelligence. You have to be able to put pieces together as to, okay, why would this person like this? So then Siri, for those of you that have used Apple devices, Siri is quite unintelligent. Uh, you could say something like, Siri, what was the date 2 days ago? And then you hear something like,
It was Thursday, June 5th, 2025.
oh wow, there's a new update. That's cool. But yeah, uh, basically, like Siri was quite stupid. It couldn't do much. You couldn't tell it to um, do complex things. Maybe set an alarm and put it in your notes, and then add it to your reminders. It could only just do one at a time. It was just focused on like one thing, basically. Then general AI is the stage we're moving to because we're not there yet. So basically, we have language models like the ChatGPTs, the Geminis, the Claudes, basically. But the thing about them is it's not actually human intelligence, because the way language models work is it generates text. It doesn't think, it just writes. So for example, it's able to predict the next word in sequences, like a large neural network. So for example, if we say the boy is wearing a red, you know, there's very limited options of the words that could come after. The boy is wearing a red shirt, tie, trouser, shoe, everything. So it's predicting the next word based off the initial context you put and then the words before it. So when you say the boy is wearing a red, it just says shoe. What comes after shoe? and. So it says and, what comes after and? A blue tie. It's predicting like sequences. So we're at a level where it's been trained on so much data, it's able to accurately predict what word comes next in the sequence based off the initial context. So that being said, it doesn't have human intelligence because we have what we call reasoning. It's like we can actually think. They can't think because they have to be prompted. They can't exist on their own and have a purpose. So I'd say that's why I'll just say we're not there yet. And then super AI it doesn't exist, but we'll get there because like change is constant. It's always coming. There was this, there will be this, and there will definitely be this. It's not going to be this forever. So that's on the intro. So yeah, in terms of like stuff you could get interested in, the most common one is automation. Automation is beautiful. It's really fun. So like let's say you want to let's say you want to what could be repetitive in your you want to send an email, or you want to send an email and then have it sent to your notes. So you could just build an automation script where when you send an email, that payload or like the contents of the email is automatically forwarded to your Google Docs, something like that. So that's automation. It's just you can play with automation for your own use cases, make stuff easy for yourself, repetitive actions that you have in your workflow in your day-to-day. Just build a bot to do something like that. I'm trying to think of like the most recent time I automated. Um, that would probably be around the lines of writing code. So the thing is, AI can actually write code now, but then I used like automation to sort of like generate like a certain type of file. So a special kind of summary of the project. So what it does is it extracts the directories tree and then just knows everything about the directory and includes it in the README as well. But yeah, it could be any use case, to be fair. You could use automation, build something to turn off the lights when you say something. So yeah, the recommendation system is Netflix, like I said, natural language, the chatbots, the language models. Then prediction is most likely what most of us here are familiar with because it's closer to like analytics or just raw data. So it's like forecasting sales, predicting churn prices, classification, spam detection, loan approval. So these two are like the goats, to be fair. Um, they are like, I would say the most common use cases of AI. So that's business, making money, making profit, and then security as well. The computer vision is the most fun, but it's also like the most difficult. It was basically where I started. So we'll get to that in a bit. So a day in life of an AI professional. So that's myself. It varies. So the thing is, every AI professional does not have the same day to day. So what I'll tell you is not what the next person will tell you. It's not what the next 20 people will tell you, because there are different kind of roles. There's the data scientist, there's the ML engineer, there's the ML ops engineer, there's the AI engineer, there's the research scientist, LLM engineers. And then with the AI, the LLMs, all those things, there's also AI ops, LLM ops. There's just so many things to do. So as a data scientist, what would your day look like? Um you'd be, like I said, forecasting sales. You'll be predicting churn. This is basically like a data science perspective, because you'll be working more on um, the business side of it, like actually making a difference in terms of you know direct relevance to profit and things like that. But something like a research scientist, you're not directly impacting it. You're not implementing what's going to be used. You're just researching on strategies. This is sort of like before this, like you're researching on stuff, you're um, putting the numbers together, creating the, I wouldn't say equations, but like the formulas that sort of like get you where you are numerically. So this comes for the data scientist. The ML engineer is basically the person responsible for building these models. You train them, you deploy them. That's why there's MLOps. I feel like this is slowly fading away because of this, but it's still going to be this. It's just going to be this two becoming one under the same name. So when you're an ML engineer, you have to be able to deploy your solutions as well. You build a model, it's not just going to sit there on where you built it. So because of that, you'd have to learn operation technologies like Docker, like maybe not Kubernetes, but at least you understand the fundamentals of like something like Docker, you understand Linux, you understand maybe Lambda, just anything to just like deploy your solution or just get your ML model to be live and then being able to be monitored properly. Then an AI engineer, this is the fun one. So even this can still be split into computer vision, NLP, and things like that. This is the most fun. This is what I picked. So something like AI engineering, the first project I worked on ever on AI was to make my laptop recognize me waving, So if I wave to my laptop, it knows I waved. If I give it a thumbs up, it knows I gave it a thumbs up. So like AI engineering is fun because it's more open-ended. When you do something like data science, there's like, we want to recommend books to our users. So the flow is like, yes, build something to recommend books, get the data, build the data schema, and then train the model to predict this. But when you're doing something like AI engineering, it's like, okay, this is a problem. And then the problems are usually open-ended. How can we solve this problem? I don't know. I can't think of any example that is not a very good idea. So I can't cast any good ideas here. But it's usually open-ended problems. Like, okay, how can we make cars automatically park themselves? There's no direct way to get there. Something like predicting a movie, because we know you can get the data for the movie. If the person likes comedy, he probably likes this other comedy that this other person watched. So if this person watched that comedy and he liked this comedy, then you probably like that comedy because so many people like this comedy after this comedy. I don't know, that's a lot, but yeah. So something like that is like direct, but something like engineering, how do you make a car park itself? Yes, there's normal flows to it, but it's just open-ended. You could solve that problem however way you want and then just try different stuff to get there. LLM engineer is probably what's the most common now. But I think in terms of relevance, which one will last longer out of all of these would be the MLOps engineer. The MLOps engineer is going to be around for a long time. LLM engineer is what's sort of like cooking now because a lot of companies are trying to integrate LLMs into their workflows. So now something like ChatGPT and Gemini exists. So you're wondering, okay, why do they need LLM engineers? So if let's say I work at INEC and we want to automate our workflows with large language model technology, like with an LLM, we're not going to use something like ChatGPT because the data isn't secure. Your data is being sent to the US servers and they use the data to retrain the models and then they just have your data. So as a person, it might not be dangerous, but as an organization, having INEC data with ChatGPT is not quite good. And then it just breaks so many data privacy laws and fines and stuff. So companies would lean towards getting their own on-prem LLMs. So open source models like Llama or Mistral, you could get the model, research what model would work best for that one, fine tune the model, deploy it, inference it. So that's basically what this entails. a lot of companies will want to start using LLMs because of the new wave, but then they don't want their data out there, so they wouldn't use Gemini's API, they wouldn't use Claude's API and things like that. So this is what's cooking now, but this, if you are here for longevity and MLOps. So now, conspiracy theories. AI isn't a robot, because like robots use AI, but AI is bigger than robots. So what does this mean? Robots are just like the body of AI. AI is what powers the robots. So when you think of AI, don't think of like sci-fi robot stuff. It's still AI, but it's not AI. Like it's relating to AI, but it's not AI directly. AI will become conscious. So a lot of people have watched movies and stuff. Okay, I think get that. Yeah, I think the session should be recorded. Yeah. So AI will become conscious. So we've watched a lot of movies where AI becomes bad and things like that. It's people have so many theories everywhere that yes, it's going to happen. AI, you see like a clickbait telling you one AI did something bad and things like that. It's not true, because the AI we have now are language models. So like I explained earlier, when you say the boy is running to what comes after his house, it's predicting words. It doesn't have a line of thought. It's not alive. It doesn't even know what it's saying. Like it's just predicting tokens and numbers and quantifying everything and then giving you a sentence that actually makes sense, just because it's been trained on that much data, billions and billions of parameters for so much money. It's been trained, but it's not alive. An LLM can't just exist. You have to like tell it what's today's date before it can tell you what today's date is. It doesn't think to itself, what's today's date? What am I doing today? It's not alive. So there's no way it's going to be conscious unless it's a different kind of AI. So unless this is something that is built on a new infrastructure, but with the way things are going, with all the information I have, it's at this, I don't think there's any project like that being worked on by any bank or top tech company. Maybe some mad scientists in China are working on it, but they still haven't figured it out. So the technology we have now cannot be conscious. AI will destroy all jobs. So AI won't destroy all jobs. It's going to eliminate some of them, but not all of them. So somebody like it's hard to say, but somebody like a data analyst, those jobs might not be so relevant in the next 5 years. They would be data analysts, but they wouldn't be required to code. They would be people who understand business. So there will be business analysts. There won't be data analysts. It will be people who can use AI to solve a business problem. So now, data analysts weighing on, okay, I can use Power BI, I can write Python, I can write R, things like that. In the next 5 years, in a matter of seconds, there would be AI agents that can automatically write all these things together, and then, even better than a human being, because of how much data it's been trained on. It knows exactly what steps to take. It's seen almost every scenario before. Unlike you, who has maybe like 5 years experience, there's some stuff you see in line of work and be like, oh, I've seen this kind of problem before, but AI would have seen every kind of problem before. So if you'd be working as an analyst, you'd be somebody who has studied business, who can make inference of what the AI agent has done. So it tells you there'll be maybe a dip in sales this month. So it's the business analyst that would be, okay, yes, the AI has predicted there might be a dip. So what do we do? Let's run an A/B test or something. I'm not an analyst. I don't know what you guys do, but something like that. You wouldn't be required to use all those Power BI or those things like that. So while it's good, a lot of people are still learning those things. They might not be not so relevant as a long-term career. because people tend to think on the short term. People don't think beyond 10 years, because if you put your eggs in that basket, what will you be doing 10 years from now? So the advice I'll give is to adapt with times. Don't be strong-headed. Don't say, okay, something is impossible. I've heard people say AI cannot do something, or AI will never do something. And then ChatGPT came out 2.5 years ago. And if you see the stuff ChatGPT can do now compared to what it could do 2.5 years ago, then you best believe in the next 2.5 years, it's going to be able to do like so much more. So people are scared of change, So my advice is to not be scared of change. It will change. Nothing can last forever. So as times are changing, just change with it. How do you break into AI? I don't have a roadmap for it because I'm not someone who watched videos and okay, I went to YouTube and said how to become an AI engineer. There's people who go to Google and check for roadmaps, and then they tell you learn Python, then learn this, then learn that, then learn this. I don't believe in it because I always believe you can't walk somebody else's shoes. You have to walk your own path. When you learn by yourself dynamically, you realize eventually when you actually get your job, you would realize it's because of the path you took. So let's say you learned Python, then you learned computer vision, then you learned predictive modeling. You find out that there will just be this job that required somebody who has done predictive modeling and computer vision, and that's for you. But if all of you are following that roadmap that says learn Python, then learn data science, then learn NumPy, then learn pandas, then learn, it's generic because all of you are in that same basket. The reason why I believe I'm different from a lot of people is because I don't do what a lot of people do. I chose my own path. I stuck with it. It took a long time. I was unemployed for like 3 years, but as long as you like it, you would always be fine. And if there's like, okay, imagine this is point A and this is point B. So like my advice is, even if everybody is standing here, some people move faster. Some people might choose to go around this place. Some people can walk through the middle. Some people can even walk like around like this. The only people that won't get to this point are the people that don't know where they are going. If you know you're going here, it doesn't matter where you pass, you're going to get here. So some people will get there before you. No pressure. Like don't think, okay, somebody learned it in 2 years and has a job, and then you've learned it for 3 years, you don't have a job. It has nothing to do with you. Your time is coming, like, because it cannot be the same for everybody. It just can't be the same. Foundationally, everybody, we are different. So don't compare yourself with anybody. Just know where you're going and trust the process. It took me a long time to actually get my first proper job. It took me so long. You guys, a lot of people don't know like how hard these things are. They just see people who make money from tech, and then the next thing they do is, okay, how do I get into tech to start making money? And then once it's 1.5 years into it and nothing, they start getting sad and things like that. One is because of time. Probably you feel you didn't start early, so now you feel behind. You feel you have to double up and work times two. Working times two does not guarantee anything. There's a lot of people who are better than me at these things, and then probably don't do as much as I do. Timing is everything, and then hard work meets luck. As long as you work hard, your opportunity is going to be there, and when you know where you're going to get there. That's what I can say. So step zero is, why are you doing it? Are you doing it for money, or are you doing it because you like it? Because like when you do something for money, when there is no money, what's going to happen? Like, because there won't be money for a long time. You're not going to learn this thing in 6 months and then get a job, because nobody is hiring people that learn something in 6 months. You can learn the skill, you can't learn the experience. If it doesn't matter how long you've learned something, if we both see an error, I can tell you what that error is because I've seen that error, not because I learned the error. But because I've actually faced these things, I've worked somewhere where we had this exact issue. You can't buy experience and you can't learn experience. So if you're going to be doing it because you like it, then trust the process. Year one, year two, year three. By year two, you should be good to go. I won't promise anybody year one unless you are like a monster. But by year two, you should be good to go. And yeah, from there, it could take like another year or two. But the thing is, once you get there, you're there. I can't really disclose finances, but when you make your first like 100,000, for example, it doesn't take much to make your next 300,000. It doesn't take much to make 500,000 once you're at 300,000. It doesn't take much to make 700,000. So it's sort of like exponential. The moment you actually break in, you start small, you start making 400,000, something like that. You find out in a couple of months, maybe 6, 7 months, you start having opportunities where you can get paid in millions. And then before you know, you're getting paid in like, how many figures is that? 1, 6, 6, 7, 8. 8 figures. You start making 8 figures. It happens very fast. Like between last year and this year, I've actually gone from like 6 figures to 8 figures. It's very exponential. Like, so as long as you are doing it because you like it, once it actually happens, you feel rewarded. But if you're doing it for money, then you're just going to slave away because there's no money there until there's money there. There's no money for a long time. It's like it's a lonely road. You're just going to be doing it, and then you see other people is working for them, but then you don't really know when they started. You just stick to it. Step one is you let your curiosity drive. So this is the part I chose. I always wanted to do stuff that were cool. I wanted to build a virtual assistant that if I said, hey Jarvis, can you, I'm talking about times before ChatGPT or before all this cool stuff. I could just say something like, hey Jarvis, can you delete the first file I downloaded or the most recent file I downloaded? And then my PC runs the terminal, and then it runs the sudo and all of that, and then deletes the file. So in all logical sense, that's pointless. It makes no sense. It doesn't, it's not a roadmap to anywhere. Learning that does not mean you now say it in a job, I did something that could make the terminal. It doesn't make any sense. But I did it because I liked it. I did it because I wanted to do it. And when you do stuff like that, you have interest in doing it. It's fun to you. So even we'll get to why your curiosity is drive in a minute, but just like it. If you don't like it, then you still get there, but you just not enjoy the journey. You have to get a partner. It's not compulsory, but you do. So why do you need to get a partner? I'm someone who does not believe in working in silence. There are people who want to work in silence and then show up like, oh, I've made it. I don't believe in it. I believe you have to work. You have to be loud about working. You have to say, okay, today I'm learning this. I don't know. It might be embarrassing to some people. Put it on your Twitter. I don't put it on my Twitter, but put it on your Twitter. Let people know what you are doing. So that for 2 reasons. One is when you fail, everybody knows you failed. People will always ask you, I thought you were learning this. And then it's a constant reminder that you failed. You have to let your failure motivate you. You can't afford to fail. So like somebody has to know what you're doing. You have to keep in touch with somebody. Somebody has to keep in touch with you. What are you up to? Like, what are you doing? There's no room for excuses. And then having a partner is just what we call networking. So when you are with somebody, and then the somebody is with somebody, and somebody is with somebody, you're like this community of people, like within yourselves, like maybe 4 or 5 people. The fraud people call it updates, but it's still updates. So the thing is, one of you might actually know something that the rest of you don't know. He could know, okay, there's this company hiring a lot of people, but because you don't know that person, the information never got to you. So you don't have the updates. So like what I've learned is when you actually have like these close friends that you're working on something together, like you're trying to build yourself, one of you is actually going to know something the rest of you don't, and that's what makes everybody grow together. But if you stay by yourself, trying to be like, oh, I'm going to learn this thing by myself, and when you learn it, what are you going to do with it? Nobody knows you can do it. Even if you've said yes, you've learned it, who can vouch for you that you've actually learned it? Who can vouch for you that actually know this stuff? There are people who, if they're asking for an AI engineer, they would mention my name just because they know I know it. Not because I said I know it, but because they know, because I've worked with them. Do you get what I mean? So step 3 is you have to tension your partner. You have to do better than him. If you are not better than your partner, then you are almost of no relevance to him. You are not able to keep him along. You're not able to challenge him. You guys are supposed to grow together. When I say partner, I know I use singular tense, but it could be a group of you guys, like a small group of you guys within a large group of people. It's easier to keep in touch with a smaller set of people. But you guys should just do crazy stuff each day. Just do something that makes the other person say, nice, nice, nice. I have to do better than this guy. I have to try this. So if you are in a constant toxic relationship of being better than each other, then you grow faster, and then you actually develop a competitive edge to sort of like want to know more stuff. You could just be in your room, and instead of like scrolling Twitter, you could actually, it sounds like madness, but you could actually just search how does ChatGPT actually work, just because you want to know. Like, you just want to know stuff. So it builds a competitive edge, being able to like compete ethically. Step 4, you outgrow your partner. So the truth is, everybody cannot go together. I don't know what the phrase is. Old people say it. I'm young, so I don't know. Is this 7 friends cannot play together for 70 years? I don't know. 40 years. You guys won't stick together because human nature, somebody's just going to be lazy, or somebody won't be able to keep up, or life is just going to happen. The person will tell you he has to go and do his master's, he hasn't had time for that. So you have to be able to let go and find a bigger community. So the thing is, if you don't meet people that are making 50 million naira in a month, you won't know people are making 15 million naira in a month. You won't even know it's possible until those people tell you how they do it. And you're like, it's not so hard. Like I heard of somebody that was making how much was that, $60,000 in a month. And then the way he said he did it, I think he set up servers to help like blockchain people run their decentralized network and stuff. He actually did nothing, but he made that money. You find out that people who actually have money do less than people that don't have money. People that don't have money just work so hard, but those people, they have what we call updates. So when you outgrow your partner, you meet somebody with with more update than you, somebody that can tell you, okay, this is the way to go. If you stick with people who are not challenging you, then you are in the same bracket as them, so it doesn't make you any better. Step 5 is building a product. So there's a stage when you feel you are ready to work and when you actually need a job. But the truth is, you're not going to magically just have a job just because you want a job or just because you feel you're ready. But then there's this period where now you're just doing nothing, and then you're thinking, okay, let me just work on projects. Let me just put a new project on my GitHub, top it. Like, no, I don't think people care about projects anymore, unless you're contributing to open source software. Nobody really cares like that. So when you build a product, it gives you like a personal feel of the work experience. So we have tools like Cursor now, or Veo by Vercel. There are so many tools now you could use to build like a basic, maybe web app or something like that. So maybe just get the AI to build like a web app with no functionality, or just, it's called vibe coding. Vibe code to when you have a front end, maybe a basic back end, maybe you could just use CSV or whatever. I don't know, just something basic. And then the value you actually want to provide, you now work on it by yourself. So it's more or less like you working with AI teammates or working with a human who can actually do front end and is maybe in the same similar like situation as you. So you guys can work on the project together. That gives you like a feel, like it gives you like experience basically. You're actually gaining experience because you're just building vague things on your GitHub, like because you saw a project on Medium building something, you not built that doesn't apply in like an actual production use case. So just do something on production experience. You don't need to work a job to get it. Just when you work on the product, and then from there, it could actually become a startup if you have a good idea. I have a startup, so always dream. The only option is not to work for somebody. You can work for yourself. So you can think about that. Then when you're at that point, these two are trusted together. While you're building a product, you also be working on your professional visibility. So visibility is everything. So for example, one mistake a lot of people make is when you open your LinkedIn, for example, there's so many people connecting with me. I don't get it. Like, I don't know why people are connecting with me for. Because like you see me, I'm an AI engineer, and you're an AI engineer, and you connect with me. Some people want to learn stuff from me. I don't have time to attend to like messages all the times, but I at least I know the notifications I get. Some people want to learn stuff, some people want to ask questions. And then there's people who just want to connect with me because they are AI engineers as well. So now the thing is, I'm not going to give you a job. LinkedIn is a job board. Is you're coming here to look for work. So are you coming to look for work from me? I don't know, because if I'm an AI engineer, you're an AI engineer, we don't have any business together. You should be connecting with a hiring manager, and like hiring manager should be connecting with me. I don't need data scientists connecting with me. I don't need stuff like that. It's of no value to me. So LinkedIn has like a 200 connection limit, I think every week or something like that, every day or every week. So what I basically did was I'd sit down and I'll connect to, I don't know, hundreds of hiring managers from everywhere, from Canada, from US, from whatnot. Like I just connected to hiring managers. Once I see you have that gold premium, I'm like, yes, this is big fish because you pay for LinkedIn, obviously. I connect with you. So like for a couple of months, I ended up connecting to close to, let's say, 1,000 hiring managers, something like that. Maybe less. I don't know. Stop keeping count. But what happens is when a hiring manager is looking for somebody, there's two type of things. When you apply for a job, you realize most times they don't even read your application. So when I want to apply to a job, and I see the person who posted the job, and I send them a message, I send them a message. I say, "Oh, I saw the job posting. It's very good. It matches my skills perfectly, and blah blah blah. Let me know if you like to have a chat." Some of them would send you a message. They'll be like, "Oh, they are not hiring directly," and then they send you a link to apply. That's a green flag because I know, yes, these people are looking for somebody to hire because you replied my message of me saying I'm a good fit. If you've seen a hiring manager, you see how they are. They are very energetic, looking for talents. So when you send them a message, they actually respond back if they are actually looking to fill that position. But when some people just even ghost you, like they won't reply the message. So if the hiring manager that posted the job didn't reply your message, what makes you think he's going to check your application? Like if he was going to check your application, he was going to tell you to apply via your message because he's looking for you. So you find out that when you apply to hundreds of jobs, like 99% of them don't even check your application. Like it never gets opened, you know. So like I don't really see any point in. I started applying to jobs like almost 2 years ago. My last like 3 4 jobs, I didn't apply to any of them. You have to reach out to hiring managers because they are the ones hiring. Connect with them. What does this do? Once a hiring manager is looking for an AI engineer and he searches for AI engineer, I'm going to pop up first. Not because I'm better than other people, but because I have mutual connections. That's just the way search logic works. Once you have mutual connections with somebody, you pop up first. So if I search for Oguniran, I don't know if I'm connected with him on LinkedIn, but he's one of the first people that will come out because we probably have mutual connections. So similar to when, let's assume we're all hiring managers. If I search for an ML engineer and Oguniran is connected to so many hiring managers, I would now see Oguniran also has 20 mutual followers, and I'll be like, oh, who is this? He knows he's connected to this my other friend, because hiring managers actually know each other because they also bounce ideas off each other. Like, oh, do you have any talents from this and things like that? So when you connect to hiring managers, you are more visible to them. When they are looking for you, they can easily find you. Not you connecting with data scientists, connecting with people from your school. Like, it's wild. It's wild to me connecting with people from your school. What's supposed to happen? Are they supposed to give you a job? No, I don't know. So that's about that. Then in terms of visibility, don't put yourself out there. Let people know what you're doing. Just let people have to know what you're doing. Don't be doing on your own. Just let people know. If it's on Twitter, you're going to post that, oh, when you build something mad, let people know you build something mad. Let it be like, okay, when I am asked, for example, AY, we have a shortage of AI engineers on this team. Do you have anybody you can recommend? Let me be able to recommend you. Not because I know you, but probably because I've seen your tweets of how you're constantly disturbing everybody with what you did and what you did. I know you can do it now because you put yourself out there. A lot of people have pride. I have pride. I can't post on Twitter that I did this, But at the end of the day, people knew what I was doing one way or the other because I was always in everybody's face about what I was doing, even while I was in school. Yeah, I was in everybody's face constantly about, okay, I was doing AI, I'm doing this, I'm trying to do this. And then when people have problems with AI, they come to meet me and then they can easily recommend me. So don't be an island, just let people know what you're doing. And then, reach out to hire managers, cold message them. I'm not saying everybody, if you don't have experience, don't cold message them. You have to actually know what you're doing. Your profile has to actually look good. You have to have done stuff. You have to have worked in places, which is where this comes in. Once you build your own product, you've automatically worked there. Create a LinkedIn page for it and put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your CV, because once you build a product, you have work experience for as long as you've been building the product. So yeah, that's the summary. You let your curiosity drive. You get partners, you tension them, you agree them, you build your own product and then work on your own visibility. So that will be all for now. That was 45 minutes, bang on, or like at least maybe 44 minutes. So yeah, we'll be taking questions. You can raise your hand or like if you have any questions. So we have like a queue. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much, Ayodeji. Do you have any question? Anybody with any question? I feel like we should have questions. Okay, no question. Okay.
I wouldn't be reachable after this session because I don't want where somebody would want to ask me a question in private. Like, just ask me the question now.
Yeah, please ask the
not
question now. He's a very busy person. So if you have any question, please. Okay, go ahead, Henry.
Good afternoon, Ayodeji and Oguniro. Thank you very much for your time, Ayodeji. Okay, so here's my question. Now we want to bring AI into our work. So how do we, because you actually mentioned a section where is applicable to data analyst or data scientist, which I am, and I believe some of us are here. So how, because we never got to that point where you discuss how we can actually bring it into our day-to-day job. So that's just a short question.
Yeah, okay. So that's where automation comes in. So AI is going to be for making your workflow easier. It's going to make it It's supposed to make it easier for you. So you can just like look into whatever problem you have, what can be automated, and then just check online for an AI that can automate it. Most likely ChatGPT can automate a lot of stuff. People are building a lot of wrappers to automate stuff. For example, give me like a problem you face, like what do you think can be automated? Because like the core essence of the job won't change. It's still going to be analysis, trying to find maybe something to make the company profit, something to prevent a drop in sales, something to keep business going forward. You know, it's not going to change. What's going to change is the process. So now, what do you think is repetitive in what you do? What do you think can be automated?
Hello. Okay. So basically, is the where I currently work now, nothing that too much. It's just like a usual. I currently head the data unit of lot of SBUs. So it's just to use whatever data they input the data. I just work on it. So I just basically work on every SBU's data and use it for the business. I give it to the CEO. That is what the board or the management. That is what we work with. So the basic thing I usually do is pick everyone's data. I pick everyone's data and then I make a decision with it. So that is basically what I do.
That's a good one. That's a good one because something like that. When you say SPUs, you mean like trading stuff?
No. I mean strategic business units, different business units. So I work on their data. They bring in their data. So it's just like I just like the central point. So every data they work on, every data they generate, they send it across. So I now generate insights on it with the board. So that's basically.
Yeah, something like that, for example, can be automated eventually because we know it's ETL. Yeah, I think that's data analysis. You have to extract the data, transform the data, and then load the data, then analyze. Something like ETL.
Yes.
Something like ETL. I know Google were working on something that could do ETL. Like they're actively working on it. It can take in the data. It can it's going to just like get the summary of the data, the top 25, like the head 25, the top 25 rows is going to get the unique values on some this thing, and then with all that data, it's able to perform like very proficient transformation. And then yeah, but I think in terms of making plots and making inference with the data, it's still under threat as well because AI can also automate that eventually. Because currently, no, I don't trust AI with information. So if AI does something for me, I don't believe it. So it's not a threat now, but eventually it could be. So I'd say for me, AI cannot really be integrated into your workflow because like data is very you have to be careful with it. So what you can use AI for is to maybe sort of just check your code to make sure your code is reusable and can be transferred easily. So when you write your code, you can reformat it with AI. I don't know how good you are with like time space complexity and things like that. So you can just use AI to rewrite your logic to run faster or to, take less memory space and things like that. But eventually you are going to have to pivot because something like that is like the entire flow of your work is under a lot of threats. It's going to be cheaper for you to do it. So maybe not so much of a threat now until maybe cheaper GPUs are made and then you've made more advancements. But maybe you need to pivot a bit. Maybe start expanding. Don't get too comfortable with what you do. Try to like add something to it. Add a different kind of add spice to what you do. Like if you're going to be, I don't know. The thing is, I don't fully understand like the data analyst workflow, but just don't sit on data analysis. learn something else. Maybe start taking a course in business or start taking a course in data engineering. You know, I feel like since you're able to receive data and then really perform ETL properly, then pivot to data engineering. Learn maybe like Google Cloud and things like that. Also, I think BigQuery, stuff like that. Just pivot a bit. Don't get too comfortable. Learn data engineering from there. Data engineering is pretty safe. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you mentioned BigQuery and the likes. So you actually spoke spoke what was on my mind. Thank you.
All right. All right.
Hello.
Yeah. How's it going, Rashid?
Yeah. Do you have any making use of any automation tool that you can recommend uh, for automating pipeline? You have a lot of pipeline running under the business performance. So and the organization, they are not using, for example, Apache Airflows or things like that. So
Okay, I think
do you have any other automation tool you think?
okay, no. I can't say off the top of my head, I can't say something like that. You might have to like do a little research on what would be better than Apache Airflow and things like that. But I don't think there should be an AI that can automate that, because that's things like pipelines, business pipelines. You don't necessarily put in the hands of a language model because it's dangerous. Could mess a lot of things up. And then at the same time, things like I said, ops, like operations, something like a pipeline, something like deploying stuff and keeping stuff up. LLMs cannot really do that. Why? Because if we want to say, okay, let's say a feature like signing with Google. When you go to a website and see signing with Google, it's not like ChatGPT cannot write the code to sign in with Google, but ChatGPT cannot go to the Google console and get you the verification required for your signing to Google to actually work. So there's more going on than just code to something like operations. So the moment you said pipeline, I feel like AI is out of it. Something like pipeline needs attention and like human, needs to be done by a human. To automate it, it's probably, like I said, reviewing your code, making sure your code is the most efficient and that it can be. So it's runs the pipelines fast and then it has less bugs. You can use it to create logs in your data, like mass logs and type checking verification, things like that. So I think that's what you can use AI for as of now, to automate what you're doing.
Okay, all right. I think, is there any other question? All right. I really thank you so much. It's such an informative session. I myself learned a lot and really appreciate it. And once again, happy birthday. Please, can we all wish Ayodeji happy birthday? Today is his birthday. Happy birthday. God bless you.
Let me give myself.
Happy birthday. Please, let's wish Ayodeji happy birthday. Today is his birthday. Because the session was Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. God bless you. Hope you're going to answer us when we call again.
Yeah, for sure. We just have to, like I said,